Good evening.
Hi,
Hi,
Jeff. How are
Jeff.
you?
Hi, Maria and Fernando. How are you guys?
We're doing great.
Doing good.
You look fantastic as always.
Thank
Thank
And I
you.
you.
really want to say thank you. I really appreciate you guys showing up. I appreciate you in general. I also appreciate you showing up tonight and sharing your experience and, well, our experience together. It's been
Yes.
such
Well,
an
we
amazing journey.
appreciate you too.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I guess it would be good for you guys to tell your story and how you found us and your experience. And I might interrupt you. I don't know. Depends how much of my control freak comes out.
That's good. That's fine.
That's good.
That's fine. Yes.
So we start?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. I came to you in 2012 or 13. I was in a car accident, received brain injury. So for 2.5 years, there was nothing done for that part of the injuries that I received in my body and in my brain. I couldn't take any medication, so I was told that that was it. That was it. When I came to you, I was not able to speak. He did it for me.
Yes.
A lot of things changed. I lost emotions. I really had no of the emotions. No anger, no love, no sadness. It was just like an empty shell. At that point in my life, I was even thinking about ending it because I was not living life. I was alive, but I was not living life. A friend of us recommended it, you guys, to us, and that was on a Friday night. Saturday morning, he was talking to the office, spent some time with Robert, questions and answer, and Monday we were there. Came to the office. I didn't even want to come in because my panic attacks and anxiety attacks were really, 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 really bad. I was afraid of everything. I was very outgoing before the accident, not afraid of anything, go getter, And the accident happened, and I became two-person. My life completely changed. It was turned upside down. And I didn't know which one I was, the one prior to the accident or the one after the accident. And I was trying to bring both together, and I could. So it was a very hard and confusing time for me and also for him because he was taking care of me. So it was very hard. So when I came to you, it was to the point of my life that I didn't have anything to lose and everything to gain. And I am very grateful because I had everything to gain when I came to you. So
Um, when she said she was in a car accident, she was actually a pedestrian. So she was in a pedestrian in a local Publix grocery store that's near our home, and she was there picking up some groceries, for us to have dinner when she was actually hit from behind by the truck. And she because I was in another city about 30 minutes away from here, and she said I've been in an accident. So I'm saying, are you okay? She goes, well, they tell me I'm bleeding a little bit. So I said, well, stay in the car. Stay in the car. I'm thinking, it's a car accident.
And I would faint, and
right.
in and out, I kept fainting over and over.
So I didn't realize the severity of what had happened till I got to the parking lot and saw her at the hospital. Long story short, she was hit from behind. Her head broke a headlight on the pickup, because when I got to the parking lot, I could see the amber pieces of the light all over the parking lot. I found she was wearing her earpiece, a Bluetooth earpiece. I found that in pieces. I found blood, on there. So when I got to the hospital, that's when I found her, or I saw her, and she had a huge contusion, about the size of a baseball on the forehead, right in this area here. She had a large laceration above her right ear.
Somewhere in here.
Yeah, somewhere in there. But anyway, and as time progressed, I was in shock also, because I mean, having experience with or seeing other people that have had head injuries, I could tell that things were not normal. She has always been, like she said a few minutes ago, she's always been a person that has never been afraid of anything, And when I mean anything, she stood up to a guy that was 6 feet tall, twice her size, that was, trying to come at our son. That's a different story. But anyway, she would talk to anyone. I mean, and as time progressed,
I couldn't even answer the phone,
she
Jeff.
could. She was.
I would start crying, just my phone ringing, and I would start crying. And then the words were not coming out. I knew what I wanted it to say, but I couldn't say it.
It was to the point that I was almost, in a way, it's like she would tell me, it's like I was almost.
He was reading my mind.
Yeah,
He knew exactly what I needed it to
talking
say.
To her.
Especially being with me 24/7 and seeing the changes on me and trying to go to the doctor and explaining what was happening. And one of the things that affected it when this accident happened, every time I took a medication, I got all the side effects. So I would end up in the emergency room, flush the medication out, and it took a few times for us to realize something is not right. So when I came to you, like I say, I had nothing to lose and everything to gain, and I did. Little by little, when you did the roadmap of my brain, it blew me away how it shows the emotional and the physical trauma in the brain. You didn't know anything. You didn't know, you didn't know me, you didn't know our, you didn't know our life. And I mean, you went year and year after, and it was amazing. Mm-hmm. And it really, it really said, this is something that it can help me. And at the beginning, it was kind of scary because, the unknown, and in the situation, my brain was, you could say how my brain was because, you saw it and you understood what was happening. So.
Well, I got to tell you, thank you for sharing your story.
And I just wanted to say that when I spoke to Robert, when I called the office, Robert happened to be the one that was there, that was available. So in a way, I grilled him because we had been going back and forth, and nobody really could tell us what was going on or how she could be treated. The last neurologist we went to, he said, well, medications can't work for you because that part of your brain is not working. It's been,
it's not processing.
It's not processing. So you're going to have to find somewhere, you're going to have to find a doctor that does biofeedback. So I said, okay, where?
What is that?
Yeah, what is that?
He couldn't help us.
Anyway, I called Robert. I spoke to him for about, I want to say I was on the phone for about 2 hours. I went into a different room. I closed the door. That way she would not hear me. And I was in there for about 2 hours. And when I was done, I told her, I said, babe. And then she, like she said, she was scared. She didn't want to go. I said,
we're talking about the brain, it's like, that's the motor makes you function. And I had lost that, my motor skills. I didn't know how to cook. I forgot how to cook. And I'm a great cook.
Mm-hmm. She is.
You can tell. And so I forgot a lot of things, so little by little, as you try to explain them in a basic, you were going to do we were going to connect the cables for the brain to start working again. Mm-hmm. And it took a while, the injuries were pretty severe. And, but I had faith, and I knew I wasn't going to quit. And that you got what you do it with your heart. Mm-hmm. Yes. And it was no doubt about that. I felt it right away. Mm-hmm. I felt like I could trust you, and I trust the whole team in there. Made me feel very comfortable. Was not afraid to keep going and noticing the little changes. I remember waking up after a couple of the treatments, and I told him, like, oh my God, I haven't felt this in a long time. And it was very emotional. I cried because I knew the things that I was not able to do prior to going to see you guys, and the little things that we take for granted because the brain functions all, everything goes together. For me, I could separate the different parts of the brain and the different function that the brain had. I could hear the lights. I could hear a noise that, like the cats or the dogs would hear that we couldn't hear. I could hear those things. The smell, the taste, a lot of changes. I had a lot of changes, and they were connecting little by little. So we work, and the mind and the body, it's just connecting the mind with the body, because for a long time I was disconnected. So you guys were great. guiding me to, to start doing new things and see how it worked. If it did not work, let's try, and I'm forever grateful. I'm forever grateful.
I mean, as she was talking out, because it's very emotional. It's very emotional for me. I can still feel it. As we were going there, she was terrified. She had cold sweats when we pulled up in front. She goes, I can't. I said, okay, all right, let's take a couple minutes. Let's wait, because I knew that you guys were
Let's
our
go.
answer. Yeah, and then and then she goes, okay, let's go in. And Jeff, the assessment, it's the first treatment that you guys did. It was like day and night. I knew that one day I would be able to have my wife back again, where we could have these conversations, where we could talk and do things, because 2 years before, man, she wasn't. And
I was
I thought I was
having
gonna
really negative thoughts.
lose her, and it got to the point where I started getting high blood pressure from it, because it was so so much, and what you guys did was incredible, and it also helped me too, because I came in and to help me, because I was a caregiver for her. The first 4 months, she couldn't walk. She was like a person that was completely paralyzed from the left side. I literally had to do everything for her, and I would do it again if I had to. But it was just,
now we know where to go.
Yeah. it was it's incredible what you guys have done for us.
And through the times that I had been visiting you guys, life happens and happens in between. And it hasn't been just for the accident. It has been for regular life stuff, death. I had a couple of deaths, and that process where I was getting myself well, which, at the beginning it wasn't. And I lost my mother the first few months after I started going to you guys. So that helped me tremendously. I went through menopause, and thank you. Because what you did for me, it was amazing. This was not part of the injury, but you also helped me with the hot flashes and everything that comes with a menopause, the emotion part of it. Women get very emotional and all that kind of stuff. So you helped me through that.
One day I called Robert, and because I was scared, because I'm like, Robert, I don't know what's going on. I'm sure he communicated with you on that. And it's like, we have to come in. I don't know what's going on. I'm scared. I'm literally really scared, and we came in, and you guys worked on her some more. It's you guys have become like, you're a part of our family. What you do it's all I can say.
It's like everybody needs to know.
Yes.
Everybody needs this. It's not just me that I came in with brain injury and the PTSD and all of that. We also brought our daughter in. So we trusted you with our daughter. That's my most precious, And so life happens. We go through traumas in our life, and we have a tendency to take care of our body, but not the brain. And at the end, if they both not connected and working together, we get sick either way. So nothing to be ashamed of, it's the brain. It's a human life, we are human. We go through bad experience, and our brain and our body will pick up those emotions, and it gets trapped in the body, and you get pain. You also help me with a lot of my pain in my body, I'm still coming to you whenever something happened, and I know it's like, oh wait, this is not functioning well, and I make an appointment and I go, and it makes a huge difference. And it has made a huge difference for the two of us, because at one point in time he just didn't know what to do anymore, and I wasn't feeling well, so I wasn't really paying attention to him. But one day it's odd. He's not normal. Something is not right. And finally I got it out of him, and then thank God, he got treatments, and it was helping him to cope and to do the things that he needed to do, because I could. So it's the whole package, for the families. And it's something that I will recommend, to anybody to give it a try, because they'll notice a different right away. You'll notice a different right away.
So I remember when I was doing your mind and brain map when you came in, and I started talking to you about what was happening in your brain, and I was like, so didn't the neurologist tell you this? And you're like, no, they told us that I'm going to be this way the rest of my life. And I'm like, what? And I remember you told me, they told me this part isn't functioning. It isn't doing anything. It isn't. And I'm like, look here, it's very alive. It's definitely processing. And I don't know if you remember, but I said what it's processing is shock and fear.
Right.
So it can't process anything else. And that's, shock and fear isn't a physical thing, so to speak. I mean, there's conditions of the body that show it, but it's really an emotional thing. Yeah. And I like to talk about the fact that, hey, we're both mind and body.
Yes.
And you go to the neurologist and they talk about the body. They don't really talk about the mind. No. And your body was starting to function pretty well, except for you're moving into menopause. You were kind of living without the emotion. And
Totally.
it's just,
I had no emotions.
and it's so important to I don't understand how anybody can just treat the body or the mind, which is why we treat both the pathways, using the computer while we're talking to you and helping you understand how your mind and body coexist. The computer is actually working with changing your body with however we're helping you guide yourself to change how your mind affects your body. And then your body takes it on and then affects your mind differently so that you don't have to do it every day. In the beginning, I kept telling you got to do it every day.
Yeah.
And then the body changes and starts to embody it. Remember?
Oh,
and,
yeah. At the beginning, it was like, I remember just going in there, and sometimes I would go to sleep, which is something that I couldn't do. I couldn't sleep at night. I would wake up in the middle of the night with anxiety or panic attack, not knowing what was happening to me, because I didn't see the accident happen. So I didn't have the memory of like seeing the truck coming towards me. So I did not have that first vision or the last vision that, you see the truck coming towards you. I was hit from behind. So, but my subconscious was speaking up all of that. And we noticed one day that we went to the doctor, and we were crossing from the parking lot to the doctor's office, and there was a white car, and I kind of froze because the pickup truck was white.
Wow.
So you didn't,
Wow.
I didn't connect that.
Right, but your system did.
Yes. But my system did. And then the heat, it was like I couldn't really be outside because the heat would affect me tremendously, like fainting, passing out. And it was because I guess being underneath the truck, the heat coming out from the engine, and affected me. But hey, I didn't know.
Yeah, because I mentioned that when he knocked her to the ground, he also dragged her.
So the subconscious picked it up.
Right.
And I was having all those panic and anxiety without knowing why was I having the anxiety and the panic.
Right.
So
and we didn't learn, and we didn't find out about all of that till
came to you.
Till we get.
Because I literally was told, you can't take medication. I cannot help you. So I looked at him and I say, so you're telling me that you can do nothing for me, that I'm alive, but I'm not leaving, and this is going to be for the rest of my life. So I went on without any treatment of any kind for 2.5 years. And by that time that I came to you that night, I wanted to open the door of the car and just jump off, because
I remember you
panic
telling me
and
that.
anxiety every day, and not being able to function, it's not living,
Yes.
And you guys giving my life back. I mean, seriously.
Oh,
and
you know what? I have to kind of stop you there. You two are amazing people. It was a partnership between you and us.
Yes.
You guys had to do the heavy lifting. I just had to tell you where to carry it. I just had to guide you, right? You did all the heavy lifting.
We didn't know, right?
We didn't know. We didn't
right.
know if you would have not,
It's a really fun part of our process is how we educate people to understand how their nervous system affects how they feel and function, and how they and you can, influence how your nervous system affects how you feel and function. it's like a whole different way of living life, and that's just such a fun part of what we do. And I love how you guys describe it. And speaking of being family, we've been, you and us have been family for now years. It's
Yes.
we've celebrated a lot of things and gone through some hard things together. And, I've been through some hardships in the meantime, and you guys were supporting me through that. And speaking of family, I wanted to say hi to Danny. Hi, Danny. Thanks for the comments. He wrote in that we are the best. Yes, we're the best.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's because we treat the mind and the body. We don't just do one or the other. I mean, I can't understand why anybody just does that. And
All together.
it's great because when you guys came in, I was able to map the mind and brain and show you exactly what was happening and explain it. And you were like, oh, now it makes sense.
Exactly.
I could see it in your faces, but I think Fernando was saying it earlier. That had to help you with so much hope. That really had to help you. Just like, wow. Finally, I'm getting on the right path.
Yeah, because we were lost. We were totally, lost in that process of what was happening, not understanding. As it is, the brain it's complex. So going through it, and when I would say, I feel vibrations, I feel this, and I feel that, and it's like different part of the brain, and it was just crazy. It's just crazy.
Yeah, as we were helping you reconnect the neural pathways,
right?
Sometimes you were getting double energy, and then you were getting like half the energy, and you were just like, "Whoa, what's going on?"
Right.
When I started,
fortunately, we're monitoring everything, so you were safe the whole time, and I think you understood that because every time you asked me a question, I was able to bring up your brainwaves and say, "Okay, here's what you're feeling, and here's exactly why." And, a lot of the stuff that happens in session, you're able to recreate on your own, which is what it's all about, right? It's what we call it neuro empowerment. Yes. We're empowering you to be in charge of your neural activities.
Right. And that's exactly, that's exactly
Jeff,
what
they told me that I lost white and gray matters, and I was never going to regain that.
And you have been.
Somebody tells you had loss of gray and white matter, and you're never going to regain that. And I'm in my 40s, and I'm thinking, oh my God, this is not happening, this is crazy. And when you explain it to me, it just gave me hope and made me want to fight for it and get better and do what I needed to do to get myself where, I wanted it to be. And it's just what you guys are done. It's amazing. I don't have a way to repay you ever than just love you.
Well, just by being a part of our family is repayment enough.
Thank you.
Allowing, taking the journey with us,
Yes.
What an amazing journey. Fernando earlier.
Yes.
When you were tearing up, I was tearing up. So.
Yeah. Yes. It's I tell her sometimes, I said, even though this happened, she has a supersonic hearing, because
you better behave.
Yeah, it's I could be mumbling and she can hear me, or like when she said that she can hear the lights, it's the ballasts. She can hear that high frequency of the ballasts in the fluorescent lights, and that was incredible. There was a little tick going off in our bedroom one day, and it took like 2 or 3 days to find out that it was a watch that was behind.
It was in the dresser.
It was in the dresser.
Like, there's a sound.
Right. And when I picked it up, because I picked it up and the sound changed, she goes, "That's it."
Oh my!
But that's another thing that helped me, because I remember the first time I went to the mall, because people will tell you, you need to do this. It's all in your mind. Of course, it was all in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
You need to do this. If you do this, you get better. It's just, you just don't want,
It's a sport injury.
So I went to the mall. We went to the mall.
We heard that one too.
Yeah, we went to the mall, and Jeff, I say to Fernando, get me out of here, because I'm going to faint. I'm about to faint. Because all the sounds, the smell, the brain was not processing.
Right.
And it was in an overload. And I also was looking at a video one day that it was done for autistic children. And I decided to listen to it. And Jeff, that's exactly what was happening to me. And for me, it's like every parent that had children nowadays, because everything that is happening, they need to know. They need this. They really truly need this, because I listened just a little tiny piece of the video and I had to turn it off because it was hurting my brain. So I can only imagine a child that can't explain it, doesn't know what's going on, and is put in a situation because the parents really don't know.
Right.
And walking into a place like that, I mean, for me to go to a grocery store, it was an overwhelming and overload. My brain would shut down, and the way my brain would shut down, it was fainting. And there's another thing that you guys helped me, to feel safe, and that wasn't going to happen. And it's just, but at the time, it's like, oh, I faint, and then
Yeah,
to
yeah,
learn
it's
how.
a defense mechanism of the brain when it's getting overloaded. So, yeah, it's interesting. There were parts of your mind and brain map that were similar to the mind and brain maps of autistic children that I see.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of do some of the same protocol to help reduce the deepest level of the psyches. It's really in shock for a lot of the autistic kids because of what you're talking about. They have an overload of sensory stimulus and can't process it, and the brain just goes into that freeze, which was causing you to faint. It causes them to just check out or not be able to interact. And like we help
Even
you,
the
we help them.
lights, even an excessive
Yeah.
lighting, it's an overwhelming for the brain to process the lighting and the sounds. And sometimes, like when I'm in a very bright room, it's like I need to put my glasses, because it's like, okay,
Sunglasses.
So I
She
I
puts her
would go to the
sunglasses on.
store, not anymore, but
Yeah,
I would go to the store and walk with the sunglasses in the store, because it reduced. It was. I noticed that it reduced the fainting part of it a little bit, and then and once I started going to the treatment, I would listen to the rain to avoid the outside sound and to let my brain know that I was safe and nothing was going to happen. So I did follow, whatever you say was, I would do this. And of course, it was making me feel better. I was be able to cope with it. So I did exactly, what you guys tell me to do. And it's just like, so I'm here.
It's interesting. I had a client come in today who's been through a lot of trauma, and she asked me. She said, "What's that high pitched sound I hear?" And I told her, "Oh, it's the lights." She's like, "Lights don't make noise." I'm like, "Well,
Yes,
Yeah.
they do.
you know what? For
Yeah.
some people, they do."
Yeah. And
So yeah, I'm working on having it. That doesn't really bother you as much anymore as it did.
No. What I notice is there's certain sounds that I cannot. My brain is very sensitive to sounds. I used to be the type of person that the louder the music, the better. But I know you get older with time, and that changes too. But there's certain sounds that I avoid them. I totally avoid them. I don't need it. I avoid them. But to me, the music, the louder, the better. And everything was music, and I went silent for many, many years. And music was my life, my passion. I grew up in a house, and my mother was a piano teacher and played the piano, and music was always playing at my house. And we did the same thing here, dancing to music and stuff like that. And then it was like, it stopped, and it's like taking my life away. But it's gotten a lot better. I now can be around people. If it's for too long, I might get a little bit overwhelmed, but I know how to shut down. I remove myself, and then I come back.
So obviously we've had a great experience together. How would you describe what we do to other people? I know it's a challenge because we're having a hard time doing it ourselves. So what would you say we do here at Pathways?
For me, it's been a journey. It's been an awakening, what we really are, and how much we don't know about the traumas and the emotions that affect us in our everyday life, and then it becomes, it goes into the physical body. It's a life changing. It's an empowerment. It's an empowerment to know that you don't have to be depressed. You don't have to be sad. You don't have to have anxiety and panic attack. That there's something out there that can help you achieve your goals, your dreams, and to be as close as yourself as you were before, any of this was happening. Some people had it all their life and they
Don't
know, they know the difference. So for me, it's you give me life. You give me life again, you know.
That's
I don't know
beautiful.
that.
Thank you. That's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Welcome. You've done so much for us that, you know, like I say, you know, it's.
I come from,
All right.
well,
Yeah, Fernando, give me the man side of this.
yes. Okay. Thank you. So that's why I originally, when I wanted to go into engineering, but anyway, I went into electronics. So for me, the way I explain it is that it's like if you have a circuit board and that circuit board goes bad or it gets any little cracks or anything inside, you have to take, find where the connections are and then take and weld it. And basically what you do at Pathways is when you get hooked up is you cause the brain to, reconnect itself in those specific points that you find, that you determine that need to, through your brain mapping, and cause the brain to start making new neurons and new connections, and then remembering, and then by doing that, it just connects everything, and it gets to where you need to be at, But I mean,
That's awesome.
you taught me a lot more, but I mean, that's just the easiest way. I love the KISS theory. It's
What? Keep it simple,
the KISS
stupid.
theory. Yeah, keep it simple, silly. I don't like
I like silly.
the other word.
Silly's better.
Yes, so it's better, right? So I use it that. So I just try to explain it to people, then and then refer them to you guys, because I tell them, listen, I've gone myself because it's incredible what it has done for me. How it has helped me to be able to help her to understand. So
And to help you, because imagine we were both lost.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yes.
now I was hurt physically and emotionally, but he was hurt emotionally. And usually men don't express their emotion like we women have a tendency to. Imagine that he would have gotten to the point where he couldn't handle it anymore, and he could have either walked out and then not being well, because that would have stayed with him. That trauma would have stayed with him. He probably would have started having anxiety and panic attack and the same thing, and then realizing, like, so we were both would have been destroyed. So it was just not for me, but it was also, for the caregiver. It's important,
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that caregivers fatigue, compassion fatigue, is a form of PTSD. So you had PTSD from the accident, and Fernando had the PTSD from being the caregiver and from the loss of, you as his wife, the angel that he always talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And that's amazing that a lot of people don't realize that that's PTSD too.
Yes.
And so the way I like to describe it, so you guys have to critique my little explanation. It's like 2 sentences. You ready?
Yep.
We've created technology that shows you how your nervous system affects how you feel and function. And we've created a system using that technology to advance how you can influence and condition your nervous system to impact how you feel and function the way you want it to on a daily basis. That doesn't do it, does it?
No, it does. It does.
Right.
For me, it does.
It's
not functioning. So, I understand. I perfectly understand. It wasn't just the computer or that part of it. It was actually you guys talking to me and helping me understand, because I wasn't understanding at that point. Helping me understand how the body and the mind work together, and how to get it to connect, how to bring it together again at one. So for me, yeah, it does make sense.
Mm-hmm. It's like our last session that we had where we sat down, and all the different things that you explained to us, and you're constantly
learning.
Evolving and learning, and it's just like, oh, that's why that's happening. And it's just like, boom, like the light bulb goes off.
Yes.
It's like, holy Toledo. So
which helps you influence for your future, right?
yes.
So it helps you have a new lease on life, and
Mhm.
Maria was saying earlier.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, when somebody tells you this is it, and you go like, "Wait a minute, no, I'm not ready." Like, come on, So it's like if I know where to go, like when things get tough, time to make an appointment, and to help you keep going and moving forward, learning and bettering yourself, and
It's like my dad would always say, an engine is made out of steel and it will still go back. So our body and our minds, our tissue is soft. So
yeah,
you have to do some kind of maintaining, and then the body and the mind are,
same way.
the same thing, you have to, and this is,
oh yeah, and we're always creating new tissue. And so
yes,
I was always surprised by the fact they told you that you've lost
No,
gray and white matter, you're not going to get it back. I'm like, we're creating new gray and white matter all the time, so I don't
right.
understand that.
they
Right.
told me
And
the
we
same.
didn't learn that till we got involved with you and you started teaching us and
And
showing us.
also that helped me to say, I can,
Mhm.
my
Yeah,
body will,
yeah,
this is gonna happen. Because at
that's
that
part
time
of
I'm
the
like,
natural
okay,
process.
I'm done, like I'm done. And when you say that to me, it's like, oh, wait a minute. No, I'm not done. So, and you have to make a decision too. You can't just say, well, I'll go today, but I don't go tomorrow. No, you have to make a decision because your commitment for yourself. I think it's the best investment that anybody can do. It's to take care of themselves and to
Yeah, that's a
calm
big part of
down.
our mind gym, right? People go to the gym all the time, work out for the body, but what are they doing for their mind? And so once you get your mental six-pack abs to keep them, we have the mind gym, and the price is greatly reduced, so you can just keep coming back.
Mhm.
And we're committed to helping people improve their lives and reach a higher level. We're here to elevate humanity, to help the world become a love-based place. You guys are part of the journey, and I'm so glad you've been part of our journey.
I'm glad we found
Likewise.
you.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
glad we
we did.
found you. And
Well,
You know,
fortunately, we have hundreds of stories, not necessarily as emotional and impactful as yours. Many, many life-changing stories, and we're here to help people. And I thank you for helping me with this. Help people. We're trying to do this a couple times a month to let people know. It's time for us to get out of the garage and let people know we're here and help more and more people. So.
if somebody wants to call and ask me questions, they're more than welcome. I'm available. Because I know what it's to be on the other side and have fears and doubts. And now, I also know it's like to be back in track and what, it can do for somebody. So it's like, I, I can say
And
that
because
about a lot of people.
And because of Pathways, you're answering the phone now, so it's
yes.
good.
Now she's back to talking on the phone for very long periods of time.
I have a reputation for never stop talking, right? When this happened and I was not talking, something was not right.
Yeah, the universe had shifted.
Yes.
I was like, no, that's something is really, 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 really bad when I can't talk,
All right. Well,
So
now the universe is getting more aligned, I guess.
yeah, I got my voice. I got my voice back. Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's a beautiful way to put it. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much. I guess we're going to wrap up here.
You're very welcome.
You're very welcome.
Anybody wants any information, they could go to pathwayslife.com or just call 305-858-6616. We're also all over social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. So we have lots of stuff out there for you all to see. So we'll talk soon.
Okay.
I guess hang on. I think we'll talk after this. So
Okay.